I draw my I draw painting this afternoon. I draw my painting for 5 hours.
Really?
Yeah, the
That's
color circle is very difficult to draw, and I have the picture.
really required to be like an artist.
Uh, yes,
Yeah.
they
Okay.
yeah, they want me to be an artist
Mm-hmm.
like this one. You need to
Wow,
draw
like
it by yourself.
that's the color wheel, right?
Yeah, the color wheel. It takes me 5 hours.
Oh no, that's terrible. Especially you have to um how should I say? You need to know how colors when it's combined that it will have
Yes.
another color. I did that when I was in high school, but I couldn't. I think I have like art block. But I have like my friend gave me like what is this? Something like this. So like a paint by
What's it?
numbers. Yeah. So I tried to make like color it because it has numbers and it's easier to do that.
Oh, the number drawing.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
easier.
it's easy and funny.
But the problem is the numbers are so small. So yeah, it's giving me like a really hard time. Anyway, so the hospital, so tiring. Yeah, but I was able to finish my 1 month OJT. So now I'm back here. So
Oh,
yeah.
let me check how many days later you will graduate.
Oh yeah, I forgot.
Let me see. Oh,
How do you
uh,
do that? I didn't know.
421 days.
421. Yay!
Then you'll graduate.
Yeah, I'm a good graduate. I'm so excited. Oh my. I'm thinking about maybe I'll have like lechon. You know the lechon. Not too sure how it is. Like a pork. You have to cook the pork, roast the pork.
Okay. Yes.
Yeah, the big one, and then you put an apple inside the mouth for the pig.
Oh.
So maybe I'll get that one when I graduate. I mean, I ordered. Okay, so maybe let's start with the class. Yeah, I've actually run through this topic. It's a little bit hard, but I've managed to get a couple of answers. Okay.
So you think this one is a little bit difficult?
Yeah, a little bit difficult because the words are, too.
Oh my gosh.
How should I say? It's a little bit. The words used are a bit complex. Yeah,
Uh-huh.
but it's easy to understand when I try to, repeatedly scan through the PDF. Okay, so
Okay.
let's start with the
Let's
direct.
let's try.
Okay, let's try. Do you have like an answer already, or then we can compare, or you haven't tried?
I haven't tried.
Okay, you haven't tried. Okay, so section B. Okay, do you want to read the directions?
Yes. In
Okay.
this section, we're going to read a passage with 10 statements attached to it. Each statement contains information given in one of the paragraphs.
Mm-hmm.
Identify the paragraph from which the information is
You're right.
derived.
Mm-hmm.
You may choose a paragraph more than once. Each paragraph is marked with a letter. Answer the questions by marking the corresponding letter on answer sheet 2.
Okay, so what did you understand?
So
Like,
you need to summarize
mm-hmm.
each paragraph, then match the correct sentence to the paragraphs.
Okay, so it's simply as it to say that you're going to match the sentences or the paragraphs, like the ones that has letters on it, like the ones, to the numbers that we have in here, right here, in like 36,
Yes.
37. Okay, so it's like a matching. But of course, the technique in answering this one is you have to determine where and which, should I say, what are the keywords. Okay, so I've noticed that there are keywords that you can find in each paragraph. Like, let's say this one. Okay, trying to figure out how to write. Okay, why do I have to do it? What that? Okay, okay. So can you read the first paragraph? How
Yeah.
will
Um, how will we all keep busy when we only have to work 15 hours a week? That was the question that worried the British economist John Maynard Keynes when he wrote his short essay, Economic Possibilities for Our Grandchildren in 1920s,
1930s? Oh,
30s. Oh,
okay.
yeah. Over the over the next decade, he predicted the the economy would become so productive that people would barely need to work at all. For a while, it looked like Keynes was right. In 1930s, the average working week was 47 hours in the United States, but by 1970s, the number of hours Americans worked on average had fallen to slightly less than 39.
Okay, thank you for
Yeah.
reading. So, okay, let's read it one more time. How will we all keep busy when we only have to work 14 hours a week? So, the paragraph talk about working, so we can take note on that. And it says, let's see, okay, we're going to mark all the the keywords that we can use in looking into the sentences that matches in this paragraph. So then that was the question that worried the British economy. So we also need to take note of the British economist, right? His name is John Maynard Keynes, who wrote the essay that and he predicted the economy would become so productive that people would barely need to work at all. For a while, it looked like Keynes was right. In 1930, the average working week was 47 hours in the United States. But by 1970, the number of hours Americans worked on average had fallen to slightly less than 39. So, what do you think? Let's say the paragraph talks more about. They talk more about
The work hours.
okay the work hours. Okay, it's mentioned in here. And apart from that, the British economist who wrote an essay, okay, economic possibilities for our grandchildren. And he is also predicting that over the next century, the economy would become so productive that people would barely need to work. Meaning,
People nearly don't need to work.
in the next couple of years, like century, how many years would it consider one century? What do you think? Do you know? One century is equal to
Over the next century, like in 100 years,
what?
in 2030s,
Okay, in 10 years. Is 10 years one century? Is it yes or no? 10 years.
no,
No,
no.
because the century is it requires like 100 years. Okay, so that is what our keywords are, and we have to look into the sentences that we have here. Okay. So, do you think the first paragraph, this 36, talks about the paragraph that we just read? Yes or no?
Let me see. Some people view
Socializing.
socializing at the workplace. No,
No, because there is no.
they're definitely
word.
not.
Yes, of course, definitely not. So we have to, let's say, exclude that one. So let's go into 37. Okay, how about this one?
ordinary American workers' wage already had decreased despite increasing productivity. They hadn't reduced as many hours as before. This one is lying.
No, because it says here it's an increase, right? You can say so productive. So
But it
productive.
mentioned work hour.
And it mentioned here that the hourly pay had decreased. So it's likely
Decreased, okay.
it's a no. Okay, so let's go for
Yeah.
38.
American workers' average weekly working time has not changed. Not changed, and it's not true.
The has not changed nearly half a century. Yes or no?
No. Pause.
Of course, let's go for 39.
Okay. Redmond believes
inequality
in the U.S. largely explains why increasing productively has not resulted in reduced working hours.
Inequality. It doesn't make sense.
Not reduced.
Has not resulted in reduced work hours. Not. It's actually a little bit. You know, it might be, but what do you think the reason? What do you think? Like which word in here would consider that this is not the correct sentence?
Reduce.
This one, 39.
39. Okay. Increasing.
And productivity. Actually, it says increasing, but it doesn't make this word makes it
not resulted.
Okay, not resulted. Also, we couldn't see the word that we need to take note. Like for example, the keyword, right? It's not.
Yes.
Yeah, it's not. Should I say it's not given in the sentence? All right. So let's continue with our next one. How about number 40?
Number 14. Many economies assume people's
thirst
for material things has prevented them from enjoying more leisure time.
Yes or no?
No.
No.
It doesn't mention about leisure time.
It did not mention anything that would tell us that it's the correct sentence. Okay, let's go for 41.
An economist's prediction about a shorter average working week seemed to be correct for a time in the 20th century.
What do you think?
Seemed to be correct for a time in the 20th.
You want to look into the sentence again?
Yes.
That's correct. Let's see. It means we take note about this works 15 hours a week, British economist, and over the next century. Okay, he predicted something, and when we go back, see an economist prediction. Is it stated in the paragraph?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, so that's actually the correct answer. That's 41. That's letter A. Because again, there is an economist who was stated, or it was stated in here. Again, it's the British economist. Again, I would like to reiterate that you have to make you have to look into the keywords so that it's easier for you to look into the answer. Okay, the economist and what he predicts. Okay, over the next century, he predicts it. Okay. So that is our keyword, which we failed to which we failed to highlight earlier. But yeah. Okay.
Yeah, so how to highlight the keywords very fast? How you can get the key point?
Mm, well, I think in my case, the word that is a little bit complex in the sentence. So, do you need to highlight how will we busy? Doesn't have any hint.
And
So,
the complex words such
yeah, the
as
complex word.
productive
Okay.
and the word mentioned about the time or age,
So let's go into the
like
second
that.
part. Let's try this one.
Okay.
So, can you try to? Oh, you cannot highlight in your end. Sorry, but yeah, you can just try. I'm trying to figure out how I can do that. Like we can have it. Anyways, so but then something changed. Instead of continuing to decline, the duration of the work week remained stable.
Stable, maybe stable is
So
keywords.
how you're going to highlight? You can tell me which word that I need to highlight in here.
Mm,
So
Let me see.
you don't have
Maybe
to stress
uh,
yourself. I'll do the work for you. Okay.
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 Stable.
Stable. But then some teachers just continues to decline the ratio work week remains stable. Okay, remains stable, yes. What else?
What else? Um, the duration of the working week, the basic.
By the
It
way, did
has
you
to
take
be
note
there.
of the answer?
Let me check.
Yeah.
I can see the words here.
Yeah, you can actually take note on your end. 41 is letter A.
Okay.
Okay. Actually, there's a concert that is happening right now. Like like 5 minutes walk. And I don't know him, so I don't have to go there and watch. Okay. So, okay. Now, what is the other keyword that you think that you need to take note of?
Um, it's, it's below 40 hours. Nearly 5 decades.
5 decade?
Uh-huh.
Hmm? Okay. And then, okay, are you good with that? So,
So it happened while people working just as much today as in 1970s. It's a question, and it's linked maybe to the next paragraph. So I think that's all.
okay. All right, so let's go with that. So,
Okay.
let's try to understand what the phrase means. So, but then something changed, meaning something has changed. Instead of continuing to decline, the duration of the working week remains stable, meaning there is a work, or maybe they are working in some kind of a company or something, and it has stayed at just below 40 hours. 5 decades? How much is 5 decades? Yeah, 5 decades.
The 50 years.
50 years. Yeah, that's half of a century. Okay. And why are people working just as much today as in 1970? Okay, so let's go into the sentence. I mean the numbers statement. Okay. Number 36. The answer?
People. No.
No.
36 pause. Yep.
Okay, not that is actually not the correct answer because because
Because it didn't mention the keywords at all.
okay, there is no mention of keyword. Yes, 37.
That's all. But they work just that many hours too. No,
No.
it's about the living standard, not the work
So what
hours.
do you think number 37 talks about?
talks about the salary and the living standards.
Okay, so it talks about an ordinary American workers, meaning ordinary American workers who is living in US, let's say, has an average hourly pay. So they might have average. Had decreased, meaning it goes down despite increasing productivity. So even if you work so much, still your pay or hourly pay would decline. And they had to work just as many hours before to keep their living. So they need to meet. They need to work as hard as they can just to keep maybe their expenses, and maybe if they wanted to be able to live in a decent apartment, should I say? Okay, so that's
For their life.
yeah for their life. Do you think it's relatable? Nah, no,
Very hard.
very not. No, no. Okay, how about 37? Let's go for 37, 38 rather.
American workers' average weekly work times have changed for nearly how long? No, it changed.
Are you sure?
Oh,
Let's go
I
back
need
to
to
our
read the
sentence.
context. Yeah.
Then,
Remain stable.
okay, it remains stable and it stays just below 40 hours for nearly 5 decades.
Oh, that's the question. That's the answer.
Okay, that is actually the answer because again, it's stated and it's noted in here that not change,
Not
not
change
change is
stable.
stable and for
Stable,
nearly
yeah.
half a century. So did it hit our keyword?
But yes,
Yes.
half a
Okay.
century means
Okay, so
5
that's the
decades.
answer. That's 38. 38
Oh,
is
I
the
know how to
answer.
get the keyword.
Okay. So let's go to our next phrase. Letter C. Okay. So can you read letter C and tell me what could be the possible keywords that we could take note of? Okay. There would be
no mysteries in this change.
having wrong about the power of technology. Increase
Wrong
the
about the
economy.
power of technology to increase the economy's productivity, which he thought would lead to a standard of living between 4 and 8 times as high as it is today. But Canning got that right. Technology has made the economy massively more productive. According to Benjamin Friedman, an economist at Harvard, the U.S. economy is right on track to reach Kenny's aims. Multiple by 2029. That is a country after the last days Kenny would have had access to.
Okay, so what would be the keyword?
Keywords. Let me see. The technology.
Technology is what?
Technology increased the economy's productivity.
Okay, could be. Yeah, we can take note on that. What else?
Yeah, I think this one is the main idea of this paragraph.
Okay.
Yeah, and which he thought would lead to standard between 4 and 8 times as high as it is today.
Okay. This one? A standard living between this one?
Oh, this one.
So, what do you think this means? A standard of living between 4 and 8 times as high as it is today. Do you think he is talking about the future, the past, or the present? Would it lead?
So it's talk about the
Is the
future.
future. Okay. So you had the clue that this statement talks about the future. Okay, what else? So when we say future, it could be a prediction, right? So,
Yes.
but Keynes got that right. Technology has made economy massively more productive. We can take note on that as well. And the economist that is mentioned is Benjamin M. Friedman? Friedman? Or Friedman? I don't know. So that's Friedman, an economist at Harvard, which is the U.S. economy is. That is, again, you see, this is the confirmation that he is actually talking about the future, right? Mhm. So, all right. So let's get into the sentences. Um, yeah, how about number 36? Do you think it's the best answer that relates to number 36? Socializing at a workplace.
No.
No, it doesn't talk about socializing or anything. How about 37?
37.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, this one. I think this one is the answer.
Geez, why do you think so? That it's the answer. Can you like defend that answer? Okay, let's go back.
Okay.
So does it talk about the future? Okay, again, power of technology, increase of the economy's productivity, standard of living could be more productive by 2029. Okay, let's go back. But here. No, not that one. This one. 37. It says decrease.
Decrease.
It's
It's not decrease.
It's not a decrease, right? It says increase by year 2029. So definitely this is not the correct answer. So let's go to number 38. Okay. American workers weekly working will not change. We already have the answer for 38, right? So we have to skip on that. Let's say 39.
39. Friedman believes in equality in the U.S. largely explains why increasing productivity has not resulted in reduced working hours.
Does it says about inequality in the statement previously?
No.
No, of course, so that's definitely not the answer. And number 40.
Many economists think people's works for material things has prevented them from enjoying more leisure time.
40? Yes or no? True or
No.
no?
No.
Okay, and we have the answer already for 41, so let's skip on that. How about number 42? In the U.S. labor market, primary concern people less willing to work skills.
No,
No,
definitely.
of course.
Yeah.
Because it did not mention any of these words, right? How about 43?
43. The writing predicting that. Yes, I think this one is correct.
That's the correct answer. Why?
Yeah.
Because
writing predicting the technology.
uh-huh.
It mentioned all the keywords.
Yeah, it mentioned all the keywords, right? So it predicts that technology would make the economy much more productive in year 2029, right? So that is the correct answer. 43, that's letter C. Okay. So let's go back. Let's go for letter D. That's how you answer the keywords. Keyword is very important. Okay, how about letter D?
In the newspaper, Fredman tries to figure out why that increased productivity has not translated into increasing
Leisure.
leisure time.
Okay.
Free
Perhaps
perhaps
people
most people just never
feel
feel
materially
materially satisfied.
always
Always wanting more money
money.
to buy the next new thing. This is a theory that
Theory.
appeals to many economists. This argument is at best far from sufficient. He writes, if that were the case, why did the duration of the working week decline in the first place?
Okay. What did you understand?
Let me see.
Or maybe you can take note of the keywords that we can identify. Why that increase?
I think the answer is number 14.
Number 14?
Yes.
What? 40?
14? Yes, 40.
Yeah, 40. Actually, that's correct. Okay, it's to be called. It talks about number 1.
Leisure time.
Leisure time,
and
yeah.
materials.
That's
things.
Yeah. Okay, we have noted in here the materially number 48. See? It has this enjoying more leisure time and material things. Okay, yeah. So take note on that. That's a letter D. That's 40. Okay, let's go in letter E. Another theory Friedman considers is that in an era of ever fewer settings that provide effective opportunities for personal connections and relationships, people may place more value on the socializing that happens at work. There is support for this theory, as many people today consider colleagues as friends. But Friedman argues that the evidence for this theory is far from conclusive. So many workers report that they would like to spend more time with family rather than with at work. Furthermore, this theory cannot explain a change in trend in the US working week in the 1970s. So what do you think is our keyword?
Keywords.
Like maybe like nouns or something, topic or verb.
Like
You think?
spend more time with family rather than work.
Okay, so that's personal connections and relationships.
Personal.
And then what else?
The evidence for this theory is far from conclusion.
What?
Conclusive.
Far from conclusive. Do you think so?
Maybe not.
No. Okay, how about this one? People may place more value on socializing that happens at work. Okay, they spend more time
with family rather than work.
Okay, rather than work. Okay, all good with that? So can you
There
try to
more.
look into
Uh-huh.
this? So let's go with number 36.
Okay. 30. Like some people feel
Socializing
socialized at
at
work as a
workplace is a chance to develop personal.
chance. No, no, no.
Are you sure? What do you say? It's not correct. Again, let's go back. Again, another theory Friedman considers is that in the
Oh,
era
per-
of ever fewer
personal
settings,
connection
okay,
and
we have highlighted
relationships.
personal connections and relationships.
Oh, yes,
So,
people may place more value on the your life.
socializing that happens in work. So, when you say
Okay.
work, meaning in the workplace, it's considered as this is the environment where you do your job. So, for example, it could be in a company, right?
Yeah, so but I'm looking at to spend more time with family rather than at work. So I
Yeah.
think maybe they want to stay with their family, not their colleagues.
Oh, time to develop. Yeah. So, but it says some people, or many workers spend more time with family rather than at work and view socializing at the workplace as a chance to develop personal. That does not really occur on everybody. It's not generalized. That is why it mentioned many workers, not all workers.
Okay.
Okay. So that gives us the answer that 36 is letter E. E. By the way, what are the two types of relationship? Oh, like, yeah, relationship? Like intrapersonal and what's the difference between
Expert
intrapersonal and
personal,
inter? What's the difference?
the interpersonal and expert personal.
I don't know how to write here. Let's see. Wait. I need to put text. Okay, so the answer here is letter E. That's 36. Okay? Okay?
So yeah, so the answer is 36.
36 is letter E.
Yeah.
Okay, take note on that. And next is, where are we? How about letter F? Do you have the answer already?
Um, let me check.
Okay.
Well, I don't think my brain is working efficiently.
Okay, do you want me to answer for you?
Maybe I need some help.
Okay, don't worry, okay? So letter F is a third possibility, proves more convincing for Friedman. That is, American inequality means that the gains of increasing productivity are not widely shared. Not widely. Oh.
Not quite.
In other words, most Americans are too poor to work less. Too poor. We can note on that. Unlike the other two explanations, Freeman considers that this one fits chronologically. Inequality declined in America during the period following World War II, along with the duration of the working week. But since the early 1970s, it has been risen dramatically. So letter F is number
Um,
30,
30, 39.
39. Yes, because in 39 it mentions US or inequality in the US and increasing productivity but not resulted with reduced working hours. So yes, the answer is letter F is 39 because it hits our our keyword increasing productivity and to poor workflow. Okay, so let's go with where are we? So we have 42, about 42. In the US labor market, the primary concern of people with less schooling and fewer skills. Okay, so our what is this?
Less late
And
and fewer skills, low
low
paid.
pay. Heck. Okay, so we have the take note of this. Low paid and this is wrong with it. Low paid and less schooling to secure unemployment. So even if they are low paid low, they needed a job. That's why 42 is letter I. See, the answer is letter
Yes,
I. Why? What Keynes predicted was very optimistic version of what economists call technological unemployment. Okay, so there is unemployment that is mentioned and less labor. Okay, because machines are doing the task. A lot of people, or let's say a lot of companies, already have machines to do the work where humans are no longer needed. That is why there are a lot of people who are said to be unemployed. Okay, and yeah, so also it's stated here fewer skills and less education, and whatever poorly paid work they can get. So it's actually noted in here less schooling and fewer skills, right? To secure any employment. It's actually stated here fewer skills and less education. That is why I considered letter I is the answer to this question number 43. Okay. And number 44, last two items. Many of the highest earners have a keen interest in love, uh, in and love for what
and
they're
love.
doing.
Yeah,
Okay, I forgot to
in
read
and
that one.
love.
Okay, so many of the highest earners. Mm, the answer is letter J.
Okay. Yeah.
Yep. Because why? It's letter J. It says this explanation leaves an important question. If the very rich, the workers who have reaped above average gains from increased productivity since King's time, that afford to work less. Why did they continue to work so much? And the highest earners. Okay? The keyword here is highest earners.
Work is a labor of love.
Thank you. And work is a labor of love. What do you mean by labor of love?
Like when you are working and you love this work and you're really glad to have this work.
Maybe, but the other term that you can actually relate to that is when you work without getting paid because you are working
Oh,
in
you're working for love.
for love. Yeah, so you just love the job and you're not getting paid about it. In exchange with your work, so that's labor of love. So they are doing work they care about and are interested in and doing more of it and not necessarily a burden as well. So you can say that you are passionate about what you're doing. Okay? And then
Like
like
SpongeBob.
SpongeBob. Yeah, you work in a Krusty Krab at the what was it? Krusty Krab. Where I've seen a lot of people who put in their Facebook bio works at Krusty Krab. Krusty Krab. It's like crazy people. Yeah, so that's working because you love the job. And okay. And last sentence is according to Keynes, there will be a shorter week with everyone's standard of living continuing to rise. answer. The last word. The last sentence. Last phrase is letter G. This one. Why? Because the sentence says, according to Kane, there will be shorter weeks with everyone's standard of living continuing to rise. Shorter working weeks. See, it says here. That that answers the question. Shorter working week. Okay? So I believe we are done with the class. Do you have any questions?
No, I feel tired.
What?
I feel tired since
Yeah,
late.
you need to sleep already. Okay, so yeah, thank you so much for your time, dear. I appreciate your
Yeah,
time, and I hope you still remember what you answered.
I remember it.
Okay,
Yeah, and I have the ability to get the keywords today.
okay, that's good
Yeah,
because it's
yeah.
very important, and you can use that one in the future. Okay, bye for now, and you have to make sure that you have a hot compress. If you have like a bottle, or if you don't have any warm compress with you, you can make use of a bottle, like a bottle for Coke or something. You put hot water in it, and you can put it.
The stuff.
Yeah. Look for hot water, okay? Bye.
Bye.